Hi everyone, I am Poornima, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, AJK College of Arts and Science. So today we are going to discuss the topic about this supply chain management. So supply chain management it is a raw materials, suppliers, manufacture, distribution, retail locations and the customers. So the supply chain management is they have given the material of the management through by the warehousing, materials handling, packaging. So this it is a saying a physical distribution. So the next point it is a logistics. So the logistics they have given the supply chain management it is giving through by the information technology, marketing, sales, strategic plannings and the finance. So the supply chain management they have through the handling by the productions of the flow of goods and services. Starting from the raw, giving the components all the way of delivering the final product to the consumer. So the company creates a network of the suppliers like for the example links the chain. So that links the chain it have given by the move the product along from the suppliers of the raw materials to the organizations that deals directly with the users of the supply chain management. So how does the giving the supply chain management of the work? One it is a planning. Planning it is a plan and manage all resources required to meet the customer's demand for a company, product and services. So when the supply chain will be established giving through by the determine of the remains the measures whether the supply chain is efficient, effective, delivers value of the customers and the means of the companies of the goal. So the second work it is a supply chain is sourcing. Sourcing it is they have chosen the suppliers to provide the goods and services needed to create the product. Then the establish the process to monitor and manage the supplies of the relationship. So the key process will be included by the sourcing of the supply chain management. It is one it is ordering, receiving, managing, inventory and authorizing through by the supplies of the payment. The third one it is a manufacturing. Manufacturing of the supply chain management is organize the activities required to accept the raw materials, manufacture the product, test for the quality, packages for the shipping to giving the through the schedule of the delivery. Then delivery and logistics. So delivery and logistics of the supply chain management is will be a coordinate the customer orders one, schedule the deliveries of the customer's product, dispatch the loads they have given the through invoice of the customers and receive the payments. Then returning of the supplies chain management is we have created a network or processes to take the back of the detective, then excesses or unwanted of the product. Next it is the features of the effective supply chain management. So the first features of the effective the supply chain management it is the giving the most obvious of the face. So that is the business of the customer to the consumer. So the better and more the effective of the companies giving the supply chain management, it is giving the better of the product, giving true by the business reputations. So that reputation it will be given by the long term of the sustainability. Then the IDC of the according to the Simons Ellis in the path of the thinking the supply chain they have defined by the through identifying the 5 Cs. So that will be giving a through of the effective of the supply chain management. One it is the first 5 Cs is connected. So that connected it is being able to access unstructured data from social media, structured data from the internet of the things. So and more traditional data set available through the traditional of giving the ERP and do B2B interactions of the tools. Number 2 it is a collaborative. So the collaborative of the CS it is improving the collaboration with suppliers. Increasingly that means it is will be giving a true use of the cloud based of the commerce network of enable the multiple of the enterprise of the collaboration and also they have given the enhancement of the ERP. Third one it is a cyber hour. So the cyber hour of the supply chain it is a must order the system and protect them from the cyber interactions. So and hacks which should be giving the enterprise of the wide concern. Then fourth one CS it is a connectively enabled. So the connectively enabled it is a platform become the modern supply chain the control over by the collecting, coordinating and conducting the decisions and action across the chain. So the most of the supply chain it is giving the automated and the self-learning. The last CS it is the comparative. So the comparative it is the analytics capabilities of the must be the scaled with data giving by the through the real time. So the inside will be a comparison and the fast. They have given unacceptable of the supply chain of the future. Next, it is the types of the supply chain management of the system. So that will be giving a depending on the work that the supply chain management the systems perform. They are divided in by the two categories. So one, it is namely by the planning of the system of supply chain management. Number two, it is the executions of the system of supply chain. So the first, planning system. So the planning system, it is the system that provided the information that help the business plan, their supply chain. Giving the most importance of the planning works are the follows. One, they have given the demand for the specific product and prepare the sourcing and the production plans for those products. Determine the quality of the product that must be the produced within a certain period of the time. Decided where the store finished the item of the planning system of supply chain management. Then transport the mode identification used to the delivery of the goods of the planning systems. Determining the level of the deposit for the raw materials, that will be an example of the intermediate of the product, finished product, etc. The second point of the supply chain execution system is these systems that provided the information that will be most helpful of the business implementations for the new productions, goods, services, etc. They will be measured by the supply chain of the execution system. One, the giving the key of the supply chain in this task, ensuring the proper delivery of your products from the manufacturers to retailers and ultimately to the customers of the execution system by the task of the supply chain. Then provided the information on the processing the status of order so that the sellers can provide the customer with the accurate the delivery of the dates. Then tracking the invoice the numbers and accounting for the product that have been in returns or repaired of the service. Next, it is the benefit of the supply chain management. So the first point of the benefits of the supply chain management, it is they have providing the following of the company's performance. Improve the customer service by delivering the right products at the right time, at the right place. So which will be most helpful for your increasing the sales of the organizations of performance. Enables the company to bring the products to market at a faster rate of giving the company's performance. So the companies to get the payment, they have given the lack of the efficient suppliers, then reduce the total supply chain cost, including the collections of the cost, transport cost, inventors, transportation cost, etc. So that is a reduce the total supply chain of the management. So the reducing the cost, it will be helped by the supply chain. It is we have increased from the profitability of the company. Next, it is a global optimization. So what is the global optimization? It is we have refers to the searching our global optima. So that is the algorithm. So it is intended to locate a global optima. So it will be transferring the entire input, search the space of the getting close to extreme of the function. So optimization most important it is to achieve the best. So design the relative to a set of prioritized the criteria of the constraints. So the criteria will be included by the maximizing the factor for the example productivity, strength, reliability, longevities, efficiency, utilization, etc. So that will be a most achieve the best of giving the criteria of the constraint by the importance of optimization. Next, it is inventory management. So inventory management they have given the four. One, it is the inventory valuation, merchandise of the transfer, inventory of the stock taking, inventory of the shrinkage. So the functions of the inventory management it is that is operations of the research we have consist of the different phases. One it is judgment phase, research phase, action phase. So in judgment phase it is selected the most appropriator of the global. So that appropriator of the goal they have given the various of the regarding the problems of the variables formulators, the problems mathematics, etc. The action it is the phase, it's for the recommendations of the decision making for the problem, selections of the most, the best outcome from the different phases. When the first encounter the methods commonly utilized by the main scenes of the actors. The technical labels such as the multi-criteria, the decision analysis, leaners, non-leaners of the programming, discrete event simulations, that will be a process of the modeling analysis, networking further fosters general impressions. So that will be a functions and methods of the inventory management. Next it is a ELS. So ELS it is the economic lot size. So that economic lot size it is a manufacturer must determine the production lot size that will be a result in the minimum production and the storages of the cost. So EOQ it is the economic order quantity. So the economic order quantity is a purchaser must decide what quantities of an item to order that will be a result in giving a most of the minimum reordering of the storages cost. So that is the EOQ. ELS. So ELS it is the economic lot size. So that the ELS they have given the optimal of the last size, that is giving the most situations of the replenishments of the not instantaneous. Supply contracts. So the supply contracts is an agreement by which a seller promises to supply all of the specified of giving the goods or services that a buyer needs over a criterion of the time certain, giving the fixed price of the supply contracts of the goods and services, and the buyers agrees to purchase such goods or services giving through the exclusively from the seller during the time of the supply contract. So the next supply contract of the elements. So about the supply contracts of the elements, it is giving a key elements of the agreement of suppliers. The items, the suppliers will be provided by the pricing and payments for all the goods and services. One, it is giving a names of the elements of the suppliers, it is a details of the supplies, then trade agreements, service contract, management contract, schedule of services, details of services, other variation of these names of the key elements of suppliers agreement. Then centralized and the decentralized of the system. So centralized it is giving the supply chain management, it is centralized of the organization, strategic planning, goal setting, budgeting, talent deployment, or typically will be conducted by a single senior leaders or leadership team, etc. So it is a contours in this decentralized organization. The formal taking the decision making power is distributed across the multiple levels of the terms. Features of the centralizations and the decentralization. So the first feature it is a decision making. So decision making they have given a centralization is a decision can be made quickly more advantageous. So what are the disadvantageous features of the decentralization? It is they have made the decision cannot be quickly. The second feature is uniformity. So uniformities it is for the plans, policies, procedure, system. So that is the most advantages of the centralization. No uniformity of the plans, policies, procedures and system. So this is these disadvantages of the decentralization. Then next, personal leadership of the features. That first centralized of the advantages is possible, result in high efficiency, more productivity, etc. Decentralization of the disadvantages is not possible. They have given the result, low efficiency, productivity, etc. So this is the features of the advantages of the disadvantages. So the next of the centralized they have given the most advantages of that is cost efficient, better command, work quality, uniformity of the actions, focus on the vision, proper coordination, etc. So these are the example of the advantages of the centralizations. Disadvantages of the centralization it is example slows of the down operations, delay of taking the decision makings of the, reduce the scope of specialization, discourage of the initiative, lack of the adaptivity to change the centralizations, overburden of the top management, leadership, poor upward of the communication. So the merits of the centralization it is centralization have given the most very important role of providing a discipline of the environment through the organization. So the higher level of the management does not only look after taking the essential decisions for the organization. So they have learned that of the hearing aid for the employees where they face the problems regarding work of the advantage. Wherever the employee of the middle, the lower level of the management face a concern regarding the work and need a few changes, they can go to the higher level of management authorities. Decentralization make the most decision making, problem solving matters easy to help us then to the proper order and the final decision are taken by the higher management of the authority. In a centralized organization, higher authorities are those who started the business, so they have given the say of the money for hiring any other business except for the decision to take the need to make the centralized. So the demerits of the centralization. So the first it is the lower level authorities work under the guidance for the superiors who are eligible to take any decision wherever required. The second demerits of the centralization, they do not have the exposures to show their skills as they have to follow the rules and orders by the high authorities. They feel demotivated while the working as they have no the chances of getting a promotion. The third demerits of the centralizations of the supply chain management as the worker is consistently working under rules and supervisions, higher authorities, etc. So, and they more get the feeling of that rather the organizations of employees. They lead to the disloyalties and they tend to leave when they receive a better opportunities of the working organizations of the employees. The fourth demerits of the centralization, employees at lower level needed to depend on the decision made by the top management which decreasing the productivity of the goods and services. So they have tend to waste the time of the decision making process by the higher authorities. The next point, they are several advantages and the disadvantages of the centralization. The decentralized taking the decision making more the advantages or disadvantages to help us to understand the correct way how to approach the problem solving, adequate decisions, etc. So that without any further, let's find out the advantages of the decentralization. So decentralizations of the merits, the first one. Decentralization allow the middle to lower authorities to participate the decision making processes for the employees. Two, it help will be reduce the pressures of the higher authorities and higher authorities will be can easily focus on the more important of the productivities, workers, minor decision making process, etc. The second merits of decentralization, it will be allows the employee to show the more creativity and skills of the knowledge. So how they have helped it is employee for the power and independence of the authorities. The third it is decentralized the organization to take the decision making process. It will be quicker the centralization. So it from the middle of the lower level, employees are allowed to make the minor of the decision. It will be based on the situation, then take over of the ownership of the require the action it will be giving the implementation. In a decentralized, the organization take the many employees are required to be hired the according to their work experience of the knowledges of the decentralizations of the organization. So the criteria of giving that increases the cost of the productivity, the cost of giving the goods or services, companies or as more money is spent to hire the most eligible people for the job profile. In decentralized, there is no uniformity because every manager has the way to make the people of the work. So the decentralized is not effective for building small firms. It is effective because it involves a high amount of the cost to run the organization. Decentralized and the centralization are opposite the word to transfer of the decision making power and to alter the organization of the structure. There must be a good balance between the centralization and decentralization of the authority and of the power of the organizational structure. It will be giving the necessary to avoid the extremes of the centralizations and decentralization. So the next it is giving the supply chain management of the three way. One, it is a material management, physical distribution and supply chain management. So physical distribution, it is a order processing, transportation, customer services, warehousing, production planning, etc. Material management, it is a material of the handling, packaging and warehousing. So supply chain management, it is a four of the one, it is a information technology, marketing, strategic planning and finance. Thank you.